Because guess what? What has every major crime bill that's gotten this far been? A Democratic crime bill. A Democratic crime bill. That's the secret. A Democratic crime bill. A Democratic president wants 100,000 cops.
I guess in the end that it's just a crapshoot. Who denounces the true you versus who backs you? Knowing you would skin the poor to make a tracksuit. Knowing you'd begin a few wars if your overlords asked you. Knowing that the ink's not dry on the last few. And knowing that your voters aren't living in a goddamn vacuum. We see through you, Joe, we see past you. Joe, we know you only want to kick trans folks out the bathrooms. Spittle up some dreck about family values.
That's the secret.
Take away our weed and then say that we just need Valium. Joe Biden, patron saint of big pharma, knows no karma, and all of our media paints him as valiant. Well, I'm here to tell you the spirit of Biden exists in a cursed medallion that rose out of hell like smoke in the form of 1,000 stallions. A dead battalion. Eyes blood red with a lust for the violence of racial injustice.
That's the secret.
I come to bury Joe and burn a candle for Augustus. It's maybe not a song you would dance to, but something of substance. Something in place that can warn you when liberals lie while they're looking you straight in the eye and they say you can trust us.
That's the secret.
I come to bury Joe and burn a candle for Augustus. Maybe you didn't get what I meant. This is not a political event. It's the winter of our discontent. Half of us will not make rent. I might burn my masters just to keep warm. Big white lies. No silver lining under smoke gray skies. And all of the streets ran red, but the blood sure kept our feet warm. So vote for the wolf in sheep form. Defund police before we're all deformed. Take our free speech, we'll speak in the tongues of C4. Our lungs need more to send us packing than tear gas thrown from the hands of fascists who killed their cams and take off their badges. All while Biden and Kamala fund our assassins and offer us nothing but platitudes. They'll tell us go out and vote and then clean up your attitudes. Well, Joe, fuck you to death and the donors you fed us to. Go out and vote and then clean up your attitudes.
A Democratic president wants 100,000 cops. A Democratic president wants 100,000 cops.
Carved upon a marble altar, somewhere in a lab, are runes that match an amulet upon an onyx slab. Doctor in a white coat, guards in olive drab. Kissinger unconscious, but as Providence would have, when the doctor stands beside him and he holds out the medallion, unconsciously, instinctively, he reaches up and grabs. Deep inside a black site that is right beneath our streets, the sacrifice was made by which they demonized our speech. The roots that fed the tree of life decayed beneath our feet, and its sap was a suspension for a small medallion piece. As the doctor starts to sway a bit, he takes the vial and places it inside of Cheney's heart that it might never cease to beat. And I wish it wasn't so, but no, the final piece to mention is the one that fueled our overlord's unholiest ascension. to afford him zero comment on the char and the distension on the bodies in Lahaina, or that growing sickly stench of every Blackrock vulture gathered for what Biden paid as rent on the medallion shard they gave him on the eve of the convention. He had seen its strength extend the life of all his favorite vermin, and the peace that he inherited had come from Father Thurmond, another artifact he had been gifted by the Germans to see one's will made manifest, one's destiny determined. A note attached read, "All our best, Werner, Fritz, and Hermann. May you marinate in Wehrmacht that ferments behind the curtains." Now here we are today, and Biden keeps it on his person, if Biden's what you'd even call a person. The curse is something ancient. It is raw abortifacient that they shoveled down the throats of those who built and birthed a nation. It is fused into those corpses, funding war on all occasions, and it's all that's kept McConnell from a state of vegetation. It is carried by the Senate doctors, whispered by the nurses. It's a perk to keep you perky for your centuries of service. It's the concentrated evil that's been powering our purges and coaxing every coup along, the dogs and drones and dirges. The nations we have raped because they would not consent to purchase. It pries our leaders' eyes awake and drives our country's urges to the darkest point where human hope and human truth converges. So look in Biden's eyes and see the rush on which he surges is the same that lit the flame that burned your churches. And those flames have had their day to see the vessels burned away, but the medallion, unscathed, always emerges. For as election season licks its lips and smells its purpose, there at once appears a motorcade of hearses. The calling of the pit like a liturgical insurgent, skinning off a sermon from the verses. He clutches a medallion of which he is just a servant, falling down a path with no divergence. Now some people wonder loudly just how low a man can go. Well, somewhere in a lab they've logged effects of pure immersion. How long can someone lay upon that ancient onyx slab before rising up a wholly different person? How blackened can one be within the ink of human greed before their voters start to see a different version? How corrupted from within before you see it in their skin? How blighted till it rises to the surface? Till it bleeds into your eye, or you stand from time to time staring off into the press like they were comets in the skies? How long until your arteries start clogging up with flies? How long till child labor phantoms haunt you in the night? How long has the medallion been deciding who survives? How long till it demands a higher price?
Play. What the fuck? Hi. Who are these people? I don't know now.
Who are these people?
Now we have to start it out like that. Hi. I must have. Hi.
Okay.
For the 4 or 5 people that are here. Hi. Good to see whoever is. Fuck football, because football blows. And
Who's boss the devil?
It was the devil. Oh, we need that. But yeah, it was not a very entertaining game, apparently. There was some stuff going on. A
Super Bowl being not entertaining football? No, that would never happen.
No. What? No. All right. So this is How Do We Miss That? Like you see down in the corner. It's INN. That's the network and the channel that we're on. We're also on my channel too, but that's neither here nor there. On Twitch as well as on YouTube. But everywhere else, we're on INN, Indie News Network, indienews.network to get all the channels that you can find us on. That's on YouTube, on Twitch, on Kick, on Rumble. We're on Rumble too, yes. We're on Odyssey. We're on the BitChute. Yes, BitChute. We're live on BitChute too.
Well, watch your profanity.
The BitChute. That's right. So we're going to do this tonight, and We're going to probably ruffle some feathers, but that's okay because after Super Bowl, most people probably aren't watching anyway. So we'll have good clips and people will be really upset about them all week. And I can't wait to hear all the anger and yell at people and yell back at them for yelling at me, because what the hell's going on, man? Refilling his bond.
That's more important, clearly.
The ops are opping, as I pointed out.
As they do.
Last week. I mean, all the ops are opping, like all over the place.
Yep.
And it's
tale as old as time.
It is a tale as old as time. And of course, the Nancy Pelosi stock tracker is doing quite well. I had dinner with a buddy on Friday, and he knows nothing about politics, but he started following this app that literally tracks the stock, and he bought one of the stocks that she bought, an AI stock, and it's up like 60% in a month. He's like, dude.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be part of Doge's education department.
He's like, bro, you got to get on this. And I'm like, quiverquant.com. You can find out all that stuff as well. Follow at quiverquant with a Q, quiverquant on Twitter. And you'll be able to find all those as well. Wow. It was quite a week to be following news. Profanity. Thank you. It was quite a week to be following news and politics and whatever you call this craziness.
All the rest.
Because we have a man baby of a president now, or at least a figurehead of a president, that demands a spotlight and demands to win the news cycle every day. And that makes a lot of people really crazy. Rude. Well, I'm not. Okay. I'm going to be rude. But he demands to win the news cycle on a daily basis. And that's going on. A lot of people are getting sick all over the place. So we've got Kung Flu definitely happening. I'm sorry?
Kung Flu.
Oh, good. You get to tell me before we start our first story. Good. Thank you.
I remembered.
Oh, hi. Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Oh, that's not the one. I don't want to turn on my camera. I want to turn on my screen. Okay.
Great success.
Hello. All right. Okay, we got Mikhail's here. We got Colorado People's News in the house. Good to see you. I saw what I
Where's
saw.
My green chili? Where's my tamales? Get out of here.
I thought I saw Cynic somewhere out there. I don't see her thing in here now, but Robbie Burns just woke up. I saw that. He hadn't heard
Burns.
He hadn't heard the Jesse Jet convention, which was the precursor to the Curse Medallion, the return of the Curse Medallion. What an eerie and a great piece, both of them. I
feel like he should just keep the Pirates of the Caribbean nomenclatures. You know, it'll be what the next one will be. The curse of the Curse Medallion.
Well, the next one is Clandestine Radio. I can't wait for that one. But there might be a Cursed of the Cursed Medallion segment on Clandestine Radio, for all we know. That's possible.
A cursed new world
has joined us from the truck. Good to see you, brother. All right. So I brought a couple of stories that I didn't see other people talking about. I also brought Catherine Austin Fitz, who I never really bring her stories. She's now a member of the Independent Media Alliance, and I'm paying more attention to what she's doing, and she's more on the financial side and more paying attention to what's happening on the financial side. So I want to take a look from her perspective, from a financial analyst perspective, as to what they're seeing from this data takeover, because with data being the most valuable thing in the world, even more valuable than oil or any other mineral, and tried to always be human, never really quite made it, even with the emotion chip. He was a mess. He was
more human than most humans,
he was a mess.
as
All right.
frequent episodes would tell you.
Before we get started, let's put up our Wall of Fame slide. We need to have a special slide just for Sean at this point because Sean's the best and Sean is killing it so far for us this year, helping us out so much. But there are so many people that have contributed. Again, Natalie, Kamishwari, Kate, Fred Edward, who else? Charlie Mack. Incredible. Everybody incredible, really. So we've got Cash App is $Indie News Network. They'll be down in the ticker scrolling there. You've got ko-fi.com/Indie News Network, paypal.me/Indie News Network. And you can also subscribe monthly.
Please.
Yes, that you can subscribe at innnewsletter.com on a monthly or an annual basis. We also have Patreon. If you're going to subscribe to Patreon, I think a few people do that please via your desktop because otherwise they charge an extra 30% on top because of the App Store fee. So don't do that from the App Store, either Google or Apple. Just do it from desktop, or better yet, go to one of those other ways and hook us up that way if you're going to help out the stream. We don't want it on Super Chats. Super Chats are nice, but Google gets 30% and Rumble gets half, and it's just you can pick up a membership maybe at the Rumble channel. That's cool. We get all that, you know. We got to pay Stripe still. But all right, so I know I'm inside baseball on platform paying, and people love that shit. All right. What happened this week? I'm gonna start. This is a terrorist attack that happened on American soil, and nobody's talking about it. Wait, what? Yeah,
Terror, you say?
Norman Finkelstein. You guys know him, right? Everybody knows
I do believe so.
The good professor. So let me back this down a little bit so we can see the full thing.
Terrorism. Terror.
And make sure that the audio is on for all of us, which it is. Good. All right. And as you like to say,
speed.
Action.
Norman, how's it going? I got you a pager. Want a pager, Norman?
Jews were known for being smart.
Oof.
You know what?
Here's your pager, Norman.
You know what?
It's fucking Holocaust tonight, you piece of shit.
Okay. That's an act of terror.
You know, elbows are legal in the street. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but he's a pacifist.
You know?
He's like 70 and it's not going anywhere. Now, we're going to talk about the person that did that because he's been exposed. And we're going to talk about the organization that he's a part of, Betar US, and we're going to expose the shit out of that
Betar.
too.
We are from the planet Betar.
Thanks to our friend GenXGirl, who then reminded people to report this to Twitter's safety because it is an act of terror, and the person whose account was doing this should be I don't see my reply there. See, they already marked it as spam.
Our planet's religious text promised your planet to us.
The person who did that
millennia
should be arrested.
ago.
That is literally an act of terror. So who is it? After openly making threats to Norman Finkelstein with a pager and a masked thug going to his speech, and the person that we have that guy on video right on the next thing. All right.
Yep.
Betar is now claiming that the police are threatening them. Okay. So Betar Milwaukee called in and said that they planned to attend the event at Milwaukee, at UW Milwaukee, despite threatening calls from police, right? And they're trying to silence Norman Finkelstein, right? So this person, Boris, so who is Boris? Boris is this cat.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
Zachariah Meller of Betar was arrested for violating his restraining order at another Finkelstein event.
Oof.
All right. He posted an 18-minute psychotic rant, which I edited down to 6 minutes for your sanity, which I will not play because it is
good,
disgraceful,
repulsive. I'm sure.
Any light whatsoever. Okay, so that was an adjunct to who this motherfucker is. all right, who's representing the Betar organization. Betar, what? Yeah, well,
we are the lizards from planet Betar.
Here we go. Let's go down. Thanks to, again, shout out to GenXGirl, who's been incredible in doing this work of doing the deep dives and getting into the ugliest of the ugly as to who these people are, what their connections are, how they're funded, and how they're helping each other and censor others in order to elevate the people around them and keep their messaging in the forefront and suppress other messaging and go after other people and terrorize them like they're terrorizing, like they just tried to terrorize Norman Finkelstein. Now he won't be,
yes,
he can't be terrorized. He won't be back down, and it's ridiculous. But so who are they? Who are you? So you put together this handy graphic, all right, where either they're part of a government, they're an Israeli operative, they are a crime organization or a criminal, all right, and you have that all broken down, meaning that you start out with the Israeli operative World Zionist Congress or the Zionists of America Coalition, right? Now, today we're going to focus on this section right here, this Betar US division, but that's only one of 4 divisions within the World Zionist Congress Coalition. You have, first of all, the American Friends of Judea and Samaria that have basically bought off all of these government organizations, government agents, all right, and
already using
government officials,
shitty names for Palestine and whatnot,
right, in order to push certain bills through that will restrict speech and equate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism and anti-Judaism.
We would never have foreign influence in our politics. How dare you try to say that that's the case?
All right. Then she describes the Zionist Organization of America, which is the original organization, by the way, that JFK tried to have classified in the 1960s early on as under FARA, which is why it says the FBI FARA violator is put there. All this will be made available in the chats afterwards, or in the description. And at the newsletter specifically. So Mort Klein is the president of the Zionists of America.
Mort.
All right. He also has links and direct ties in, and this World Zionist Congress is funding Betar USA. All right. And they're also funding the North Carolina Coalition for Israel. And they're a whole problematic thing that we're also going to get into tonight too. But look at what Betar US is involved with. First of all, Irgun and the Jewish Defense League are both considered criminal organizations. Irgun is on the FBI terrorist watch list. All right. The Jewish Defense League is on the Justice Department's terrorism list. Now
what's that? They've been on our radar. What do they describe that again?
Yep. They've been on our radar. Exactly, is usually what they're described as. Now, this gentleman, if you want to describe Ronn Torossian, we're gonna get into him. And again, GenXGirl's done all the research on all these people and had them vetted, and all these are sourced with backup information and usually from their own quotes themselves, which is unbelievable. But Betar is also responsible for this Kahani Chai, all right, which is a specialty designated global terrorist organization. All right, direct links
not
to
a delicious spiced tea.
No, not at all.
Just to
3
make
different
sure.
terrorist organizations, links to indictments with indicted Mayor Eric Adams with FARA violations there. All right, links to a Pornhub lawsuit for child pornography. And we're, again, going to get into all of this stuff. And guess who else is connected through the Hoots pack? Richie Bitchy Torres. Oh, yeah, he's touched by this too. All right. For all you duopoly anti-Zionists, Richie Torres is definitely connected to this. So what she says is, The World Zionist Congress is a parliament of the Jewish people comprised of Jews worldwide in a global government forum which convenes in Israel. This year, the World Zionist Congress is holding its 39th election for members of its parliament, and the extremist Zionist coalition is campaigning to represent U.S. Zionists. What a surprise. Both Christian and Jewish, by the way. All right. Now, a lot of these are just Jewish organizations. All right. Please vote for the ZOA coalition. All these different organizations. My God.
Oh.
Look at all these different labels and logos. Ezra USA and the One Israel Fund. The Likud Party. Save the West. All right. The National Jewish Advocacy Center. Some that sound very benign and benevolent. All right. That aren't at all.
Yes, but connected to Jewish terror pretty much at the core.
Right.
So,
pretty much. So she continues to say that this coalition is campaigning to represent U.S. Jewish Zionists. Per the rules, you have to be Jewish to participate. All right. Prominent members of this organization are ZOA, Betar, NORPAC, which is like APAC. All right. The Lawfare Project, they sue the world on behalf of Israel. Like I said, One Israel Fund, CAMRA, which is an Islamophobic org, the American Friends of Judea and Samaria, all right, looking to annex the West Bank. Just, yeah. All of them kind of put together. And then you've got this lady Sloan. So the coalition of Netanyahu and Doxing Americans rally. Several members of the ZOA coalition are staging a rally where members of Congress in support of Netanyahu. This is really funny because nobody showed up at this thing. It was literally like a box truck that had messaging on it instead of this, but it was paid for by all these organizations. And these two representatives were scheduled to show up. All right. Now, who's this Sloan Rashmuch? All right. She works for the Daily Wire. That's Ben Shapiro's organization. All right. Front Page Magazine, The Federalist, for which she receives money from one of Trump's top mega donors. Of course, they're all connected and interlinked. All right.
Yep.
Then here is the Daily Wire reporter posting a thread about how she took pics of all the student protesters and then sent them to an AI company. Lady. All right. So that they could be identified and then deported if they had some kind of a visa thing. All right. So
what?
Arrested for cyber stalking, very similar to what she does for Betar. North Carolina has cyber stalking laws which prohibit you from taking pics of people in stores and posting. Of course, she has enough connections to get the charges dropped. But very similar to the New York lawmaker who waved her gun at protesters, got arrested, and then the DA dropped the charges. Again, the dual justice system in play. Right? So we have somebody who is clearly privileged and running around and terrorizing Americans, terrorizing students who are exercising First Amendment rights to protest, because she doesn't like what they say, trying to get them in trouble or kicked out of the country.
Right.
Here it is when she's doxing and attacking the anti-Semite, the anti-genocide protesters and college students. This is back in May. All right. Israel-friendly CNN finally admits that the counter-protesters who violently attacked pro-Palestinian students were not students at the school. They were older Jewish men, Israeli citizens, and maybe we had some neo-Nazis. And there's 5 minutes of footage there back on May 16th. All right. There's the footage right there. She's pulling that from CNN. She does her background and research. She just shows you what's out there. All right. And then here's her thing about the Israel network that's targeting students. That again was back in last April. We covered a lot of this stuff. I don't know if it was her research, but we certainly covered a lot of what was happening at Columbia and nationwide. All right. Similar to Sloan, her alignment again, we're getting back into this. All right. Then her brain's fried. Part 2 is going to have more stuff. All right. Zionist media masquerading as right-wing news is a huge problem in America. Talking about Breitbart. While waiting for their terror rally tomorrow, Betar is looking to vandalize D.C. Hope Trump enjoys it, right? So, unbelievable. Right? So then she gets into who this Betar organization is even further. Right? Again, wanting to rename the West Bank so they can annex it. And there's our Dale Gribble, the Gribble Report. That's our buddy over there.
He's not, but it's a Gribble.
That's not Dale. He's using a Gribble pick.
Yes.
So like I said,
Richie Torres.
The head of this Betar organization is this guy, Ronn. Now, what's really messed up is the first time she posted this, they had it taken down and flagged for, I don't know if it was hate speech or, here it is.
Misinformation.
No, for may violate hateful conduct because they allegedly doxed him. All right. But here's who he is. He's the president of Betar. He was a member of Kahani Kai, which is a U.S. designated terrorist organization. He was a leader of Betar International, which has links to terrorist organizations Irgun and the JDL. He's trying to revive the ideology of Kahani Kai, Irgun, and JDL in the U.S. He's a candidate for the ZOA coalition to represent the U.S. Zionists at the World Zionist Council in Israel. An FBI agent FBI required the ZOA to register as an Israel foreign agent 7 times. All right. He's connected to Trump's. He's also connected to the DNC and the Clintons. Like we said, it's a uniparty. They all serve Israel. He's connected to many members of Congress, including Richie Torres. All right. He's also a registered foreign agent of Turkey. Okay. All right.
It makes sense.
Right? He's represented and worked with nefarious characters involved in sex trafficking, child porn, and revenge porn like Diddy and Pornhub. And Betar's director, Ross Glick, he's another disgusting individual.
Glick.
All right. And she's got all kinds of citations when you start going down this rabbit hole. There's also links to Jake Novak, and I believe he was a high up in government. Just not good, not good peeps, to say the least. The Nazis changed, but they never went away. Exactly. All right. Where is the rest of this? All right. That's again, that's the first thread. I have more here. All right. So Betar and ZOA, we're having an event to celebrate in DC, a rally. Right. Get the jihadis out of America, a deportation policy, right? Take a stand, make our voices heard. Nice. Right. And then we get into this Sloan, Rakhmuch. All right. Here's the thing, changed it to noon. Right. Then I believe they showed up. I want to see where the thing is, the truck that was there. It was really pathetic. All right. Then you've also got the links to Eric Adams. All right. And the FARA violation with Turkey and why the Israel lobby is alarmed. Right. And I believe she published this one today about the part 3 about the FARA stuff. All right. Yeah. And this just goes down a deep, dark rabbit hole. All right. Disgusting. Mayor Eric Adams was indicted for bribery and corruption with Turkey.
Who are these people?
Really? With Turkey. Grand jury subpoenas were issued for Adams related to Israel, China, Qatar, South Korea, and Uzbekistan. He also took money from pro-Israel billionaires in exchange for the Columbia student protest arrest, which we also documented. And here is the New York Times showing the investigation into those 6 countries. All right. Then there's the link. And of course, there is that he's joined the Israel lobby paid lawmakers to condemn free speech. And what was this? Through IHRA, right? He supports the Stop Anti-Semitism Hate Act or whatever it is, nonsense that they're just really trying to restrict speech and criticism of Israel. We know this already. All right.
Yeah.
Where is the rest of this thread, though, is what I'm looking for. Part 2 about Ronn Torossian. Because there's a lot more about this guy. And now I need to find it because she sent it over here. Again, shout out to GenXGirl. Is this it? Thread app. Unroll. Let's see. Here he is. Here's all the different links and background. Image. One of the earliest records of his activities is his membership in Kahane Chai, where he was their campus director. They were designated a terrorist organization by the U.S. and Israeli governments after their murder spree killing Americans. In this video, he's the master of ceremonies at a memorial for Meir Kahane, who's the founder of the terrorist organization. All right. Another member of Kahane Chai is Israel's Itamar Ben-Gvir. We know him, right? Ronn and Ben-Gvir ascribe to Mayor Kahane's ideology, which is ethnic cleansing. All right. This is all about his rise to power and how he kind of rose to prominence. All right. It started under the Clinton administration, despite the fact that his ideology is extreme. Watch David Sheen. Right, and this is a whole video that explains about how sought election advice from the biggest racists in the Jewish community. And that's why today, POTUS, Joe Biden, and VP Harris support the genocidal agenda of the Kahane movement, founded by Torossian's hero. All right. Then you've got
Jewish rapscallion.
Well, in this case, he happens to be, but he's also a Zionist, which is the bigger problem. Ronn's rise to money in business is through his PR company, 5WPR, where he's built a reputation as a ruthless guerrilla marketer and crisis PR agent to some of the world's most notorious people. P. Diddy was a client as well as Pornhub. Basically, he's like a damage control. Yeah, but he's a damage control specialist. Like, he comes in and make sure that the damaged reputation somehow has a way to be rebuilt and start smearing people all around them, usually unwarranted, to try to elevate or, minimize, to try to elevate the person around them or minimize the damages and the effects of the bad news that's happening to his client. All right. So then you've also got, here's his connection with Pornhub. 50 women reached a settlement in a suit claiming they were duped into filming girl videos for Girls Do Porn, a site owned by Pornhub. At least 6 were charged by attorneys. Few companies have done more to undermine the American family. He also blasted Torossian's involvement as the PR agent. Anyone on the right who cares or even claims to care about protecting the family should immediately sever ties with this individual. That was 5 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
And there's more about him there. Then he's, guess who? Bitchy Torres' top donor. Oh, yeah. Despite being a proclaimed far-right and conservative Zionist, aligning himself with Christian Zionists and attacking the DNC, Torossian was, for some reason, Richie Torres' top donor, helping him raise $150,000 this past election cycle. And, of course, famously, one of the people running against him was Jose Vega. I think Jose may have even gotten more votes than the Republican. I don't know. Richie was handpicked by the Israel lobby to represent them in Congress while in the Bronx, the poorest district in the U.S. Of course, they continue to suffer. All right. He was arrested for attacking and intimidating student protesters back at student at Syracuse University. That was a long time ago. That was in May. Now look at that at the Daily Orange.
Yeah.
He claimed to be the Zionist parents of Syracuse. All right. Claimed to represent them because everything he does automatically, by definition, represents Zionists, I guess. And here's the receipts. Right. Confirmed as a parent, arrested on Quad Sunday.
Legion of Doom.
Now, did he have a child enrolled there? I don't believe so. All right. He represents them, but I don't know if he actually has a child enrolled there. College parent arrested. I guess he might have been. But look who he's taking pictures with. Eric Adams.
Yep.
One parent especially aggressive in his verbal treatment of students. Like endangering students. So here's the Betar Jake Novak is a Betar spokesman. Right? That name sounds familiar. It's because Jake Novak attempted to extort Matt Gaetz' father for $25 million while working at the Israeli consulate as their media director. Again, documented. After the story went viral, the Israeli government distanced themselves from Novak, and he lost his job. And of course, Betar soon hired him afterwards because they always take care of their own.
Why not?
Now, I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, this comes from Drop Site, but it does come from Jack. What's his name? I like Jack, and he usually is more accurate. I have to say this is not a Ryan Grimm story. All right, Novak is now the spokesperson. Yeah. Then you've got his connection to Ross Glick. Ross Glick is the Betar U.S. director arrested for revenge porn. Last week it was surfaced. Yes, Ross was that boyfriend. Gross. Here, look at this. All right, here you go. Oh, look at who he's pictured with. What a Manhattan CEO.
It's revenge porn with Fetterman? Man, that must have been interesting.
Ugh, gross. No, but he's the guy that.
Mm.
All right. Now also Betar has partnered with this Nesher AI. That's a whole, oh my God, a whole other rabbit hole. Now this guy, his name is apparently Ali Hassan Hawila, but he calls himself Eliyahu Hawila, all right, and then said that he was Orthodox, but he then said that he was a prominent figure in Lebanese Chosan. So he's a Muslim in Lebanon who converted, but this guy
sounds like a spy to me.
Yeah. He made a show of flying to Israel during Passover weekend 2022 so he could begin a conversion to Judaism. In subsequent interviews, he later claimed he learned that his mother was in fact Jewish. Not true, but okay.
All
right. This lame hoax. All right. And then this was also the guy, by the way, who tried to frame this lady. All right. And say that she was just deported or whatever. This was like from May. And this was debunked over and over. Like all these guys are getting is just owned over and over and over again. She says, and this came out today. Part 3 will focus on Ronn Torossian and Eric Adams and Trump's DOJ working a deal to drop any charges against Eric Adams and the influence of Betar in helping make that happen. All right. She also talked about this ZM tabloid that has been doing incredible work as well into doing some of the digging here. And there's a much larger project at play in exposing a lot of these organizations in the way that they have been trying to dox and expose and, hurt the people that are protesting and trying to stop genocide. We're starting to get some people on our side that know what they're doing and know how to find who these people are and tell who they are. And here's their background. Here's, again, what is Kahani Kai? can't play the music. They murdered dozens of people, right? Against Palestinians, Americans, and others. Remember when they did that skunk attack at Columbia University? That was this organization,
Vaguely,
Betar.
yes.
All right, where they...
Of course.
Yep. Here.
Synagogue. Unfortunately, this is not a happy event, and this is the yahrzeit of Rav Meir Kahana Zatzal, and I hope that on other occasions you'll come here for Simchas. I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Ronn Ben Israel, who will be the master of ceremonies. He is the campus coordinator of Kahana Chai. Mr. Ben Israel.
Kahana Chai.
Ben Israel means the son of Israel. Or Israel.
Yes.
Friends, we are gathered here today
Romans.
for the 4th year that we have not had the greatest Jewish leader ever, Rabbi Meir Kahana. It was 4 years ago that an Arab terrorist killed our leader. Today we are gathered here. This will be the event of the year. Finally, we will raise a voice, and do more than raise a voice, to the outrage which is going on in Israel. As Jews are silent, and as we, the only noble people to raise a voice, are silenced. But they can't silence us. Kahana Chai, Kahana lives on. Kahana lives on. Something I'd like for all of you to keep in mind throughout this program is that it's not just enough to come here once a year and to send us your checks 3 times a year. We need your bodies here with us. Do not just say that Rabbi
More
Kahana was
importantly,
right.
we need your wallets with us.
Do not just say, yes, he was correct. Yes, the Arabs must go. Stay with us. Do something with us. Directly after this, we'll be having an emergency protest. There will be buses outside to take all of us to the Israeli consulate. We'll be joined by our international leader, Rabbi Binyamin Zev Kahana. He will be here with us. Please, we need your bodies here with us.
And as far as the Arabs, the transfer, they said it's not moral.
Oh God, the voice.
Rabbi Kahana said it's not moral. Is it moral to leave them in here and eat at us like a
My
cancer?
God, I went to go
Now,
get the bread.
That mad dog he's doing to the Jews, what Rabbi Kahana wanted to do to the Arabs? The country has gone insane.
Man, that weird laugh lady
With
from
no further
Seinfeld
ado,
did not age well, did
Binyamin
she?
Zev Kahana.
Yeah, like, all right, so there's another 30 seconds of this. I don't even I think we've seen enough. Okay, again, this is all about like how he rose to power and prominence within, well, you can guess it's by representing the donor class and representing the Israel lobby and bringing a lot of these powerful organizations, powerful because they have been funding a lot of the coffers, and you could see all these different organizations, and every one of those organizations, by the way, can donate X amount to every campaign and does. And how are they getting funded? And there's a lot of questions as to a lot of this stuff. But there's also a lot of very wealthy Jewish Americans that are funding this stuff too. You can hear him kind of yelling at them, and that's, you know, it's not just all Israel, because a lot of the Israeli money is coming from here to begin with. You know, the Bill Ackmans.
Controls the spice, controls the universe.
Right, so she even cites the thing with Zateo here. Torres has been happy to take money from wealthy businessmen. We know this. Yeah, real progressive guy.
What's that? The 45th rule of acquisition. What's that one?
Oof.
Count I have that somewhere. Where's it at?
That is the 34th rule of acquisition states. Peace is good for business.
That's the 35th rule.
Oh, you're right. What's the 34th?
War is good for business. It's easy to get them confused.
Yes, it is.
All right.
War is good for business.
I need a shower after that. It's gross.
Yep.
That whole rabbit hole of an organization that goes around. They also fund and arm and help strategize with the terrorists that attack the students in the college protests that were camping out. They coordinate with cops to try to, again, terrorize innocent protesters that are exercising First Amendment rights to try to do what they can to let the political class know that they want that genocide stopped, because there's no other way for us to have any kind of voice that has any kind of impact whatsoever. Voting our way out of this ain't going to work. I hate to say it. So, yeah, and certainly we are demonetized, and YouTube doesn't like stories like that. So please, if you can,
will not be televised.
it certainly will not. But I don't also think that it will end up allowed on YouTube in the end, which is why we're working toward a self-hosting solution at some point, that we're going to be able to direct everyone to a website, and then we'll be able to chat via a Discord server, and
modern problems require modern solutions.
All will hopefully be avoidable of the major censors, so we can keep saying what we want to say, and nobody's going to try to stop us. We got a good crowd here. Hi, everybody. I have got a decent number of stories left.